Hello everyone. I think I've been needing to do this video for a while because I did one previously, but it's kind of a little bit outdated and I thought I'd do it over again, especially because there's one thing that has changed that I need to add when it comes to fixing the problem with villagers breeding. So let's go ahead and get started and let's try to teach you this as quick as we can. So the main thing is when you're coming to do the spawning thing, the villager, the first thing you need is the bell. Make sure you have the bell nearby. The second thing is when you're going to breed your villagers, make sure it's in an open space and try to make it flat, because this is important. Pathfinding with villagers is not very good. So let's try to remove the problems and, just make this place as flat as you can. Not saying they can't spawn if it's vertical, it's just, it helps. Okay, so the next thing you need to do then is get your bread. Now you can use potatoes or carrots, but I'm going to say bread is best because you only have to give 3 of them and it increases the capacity that they can have. So then you need to find your villagers and you need to give them tons. And this is important. You really want to give them like a lot. Like I'll go through and give them like 7 stacks of 64 bread. And you don't have to spread it around to the different villagers. Just give it to one and he'll do it for you. They'll actually toss it back and forth. And where are you going? Okay. He's got to pick it up. I'm going to say this because this is important. If your villagers aren't picking up the bread or aren't progressing to the point where they're breeding, make sure your mob griefing is turned on. If it is off, they will not breed. Make sure that mob griefing is turned on. Okay, so give them all that bread. Give it all to them. Tons and tons of bread. Just spread it all out. Okay, now come back to the bell. And the next thing we need to do is place down a bunch of beds. Now I'm going to say this. There is a cap, so they, each villager has to have a bed and they want to be assigned to it. So make sure you have lots of beds. Like seriously, I'll put down a minimum of 20 beds. And that really is important. Try to make it a flat area. This helps. And another thing too is they will not work if they only have like that much space above the bed. They need to have at least 2 spaces. But still, this rule isn't like the most perfect thing, so it actually works best if you don't have anything above it at all. Now, another thing you're going to want to do, this doesn't change the breeding, it just makes it so they don't die at night. Try to place a bunch of torches around and maybe put a big wall around it so they don't die at night from, attacks. That's important, especially from pillagers' attacks. Make sure you get a wall around your village. Light the whole thing up. Now another thing, and this is very important, this isn't the other, there's 2 things I didn't mention in my previous video that have changed, and this is important. One, of course, is the mob griefing, make sure it's turned on, and 2, you've got to remove the existing beds, and that really is important, because sometimes they'll assign themselves to that bed, but they won't want to breed if they're too far away. I don't know why, it's not supposed to work that way, but it happens. So I highly suggest go and remove all the existing beds in the village. All these beds are in the village right here. You don't want them. Get rid of them. Okay, I don't see any more, but I'm not going to go do it all myself. Go do that yourself. Make it so the only beds they want are the beds right here. Look, he tried tossing the bread. Okay, so they might actually already start breeding here soon. Now let's see, another thing too, as far as breeding, the time of day does matter. I think 2000 is best, but basically just sometime, not right the first thing in the morning, but in the morning towards mid-afternoon. Or towards the time when they like to meet later in the day. That's when they like to breed. It's a couple different times during the day. They will not do it during night, though. So if for any reason you see they're not breeding, just remember the time of day does matter. Maybe just hang around for a few minutes until, the time of day changes a little bit. Then hopefully you'll come to a moment when they start breeding again. Okay, so there's still meat in here. Oh, another thing, and this does help. Remove job blocks too. I know it might be sad to remove their jobs, but go through the village and remove all of their job blocks. Remove every single one. Get rid of their jobs, so it's best to do this before you have jobs assigned. Oh look, they're already breeding. Then come and put all the blocks near the beds, all their jobs. Have all the work and everything happen in one place. If they are not going pathfinding to their work blocks are far away and they're all doing it close together, they'll all be together, and the chances of them breeding from that point on are super high. In fact, it'll turn into a crazy village spawner, and you'll get villagers everywhere. Pretty crazy, right? Well, I think I've mentioned everything. I think those are the most important things. In fact, pretty much all the things you need to do to fix the problem with villagers not breeding. I really can't think of anything else. Those are the main things. And I included the 2 new things which I forgot in my last video, which are important, of course. I'll say them again because of how important they are. Make sure mom griefing is turned on. And make sure you remove all of the beds around in the different houses in the village. Oh, and of course the job blocks. That does help. Not that they can't spawn if, you know, they are separated throughout the village. It just helps to keep all the villagers together in one spot when they go looking for their jobs. See, we've already got some kids already. See, it's working. I believe that's it, and this should work in pretty much every version of Minecraft, so, you know, it doesn't... Well, I mean, like, the latest versions, the platforms. That's what I meant, not the versions of the platforms. So if you're in Java, if you're in Bedrock, you know, if you're playing Windows 10, or you're playing on Xbox or PlayStation 4, these should work across all platforms, so that shouldn't be a problem. Okay, well, that's it. This is a confusing thing sometimes, and if you're having problems, don't feel bad. Lots of people have problems with this. This is a big issue a lot of people are dealing with, and we'd like to try and help you out. So ask in the comments below, and other people are passing by, you know, you may know stuff, and, you know, feel free to answer the questions of other people have. And let's help each other out and get this working. So anyways, that's how you fix the villager breeding problem, and I hope that's helpful, and I guess I'll just see you next time.